Hey guys, JJ back here. This time to chat on Louisville versus Notre Dame. Seeing it right now, Louisville minus 7.5, total 134.5. Back from a day off, didn't really see any action I liked yesterday, so I didn't want to put you guys in unfavorable positions. I'm back today rocking my Lakers LeBron shirt. I'll actually be at the game, Madison Square Garden on Sunday. I'm a huge LeBron fan. The missus knows this, got me tickets for my birthday, so I'm pretty pumped to see the Lakers, even though his cuck ass will probably not even play, especially with how the Lakers have been playing these days. But either way, the channel has reached its first losing streak, at least as far as I've been doing for CBB. As crazy as this may sound, a minor losing streak not only good for this is not only good for this channel, but it's also good for everybody who watches these videos. This is for a few reasons. For one thing, it makes it clear to anyone new who has joined, or maybe anyone who has some type of weird, skeptical ideas in their head that I don't lose games. It makes it very clear that I do actually lose games. This is not some type of crazy fixing games YouTube channel. I do lose games. And you know, I know it might sound silly to some of you guys, but I know that there's plenty of people out there who just blindly go from handicapper to handicapper or tout to tout, whatever word you want to use to define them, thinking that following the next hot thing will be their answer to, you know, why they're not making any money sports betting. You know, a lot of these individuals, they're not going to try to make themselves better in any way. They're just going to try to find the next person who can help them win money, not so much help them get better. You know, on this channel, trying to make you guys all better at betting sports. You know, many in this industry are going to run and hide from their losses. You know, you're going to see this. I don't know if this is the first channel you've watched for betting sports. If this is, you know, the 30th or 40th or 100th or 1000th. You know, I don't know how much you guys are fully involved or invested in sports betting, and I'm sure it's different with all of you. But you're going to notice that there's a lot of handicappers and touts that lose and then kind of run from their losses, kind of like run and hide, and then, you know, don't even address them as if they never even happened. You know, for me, I want to make my losses more pronounced. I mean, remember, guys, during the whole winning streak, or at least when we were churning out a bunch of wins, you know, I kept saying in every video, look, losses are coming. Losses are inevitable. It's part of this industry. I never sat there and told you guys, hey, look, you know, another winner, chicken dinner. You know, I never did anything foolish like that. You know, because ultimately, a lot of people who do that, you know, I'd say it's naive, but I don't even think it's that. I think it's pure ignorance. The handicappers and touts that speak like that, you know, the chest pounders, you know, the people that give excuses when they lose games, they cry the blues. This ball didn't bounce my way. You know, the bats weren't there, or the pitching wasn't there, or, you know, I couldn't get a few late free throws. I always get fucked late in games. You know, it's those types of things, you know, those types of people that you kind of want to avoid in this industry, because ultimately they don't have your best interest in mind. I mean, they're basically looking to, you know, find a quick run and, you know, and gun it out of this industry. Don't ever buy into anyone's nonsense like that. You start hearing people talk like that, like say things like, oh, here's my 5-unit winner. I never lose these. I'm always at the top. I feel like I get this vibe, like whenever I go to a craps table and I hear like this guy come to the table and like he'll see I have a decent amount of money in front of me. Like typically I'll buy into a craps table for about $2,500 or $3,000. I'll have it in front of me. You know, some guy will go to, wow, you're a young guy. You know, where do you get that money from? I tell him I steal it. And then, you know, he asks me more dumb fucking questions. And then he'll say to me like, oh, you know, hey, wait till my roll. You know, here I come. You know, you have no idea the kind of rolls I've been on. You know, I can roll nonstop. I can roll for an hour and a half without rolling a 7. Meanwhile, the guy bought in for $15. You know, pure piker. And like he thinks like for whatever reason that like someone like myself like really gives a shit what he's saying, like and how he's pumping himself, rolling the dice. Like I understand that that's all luck, and I'm not saying that this in particular for sports betting is all luck, but I think that a lot of the people that promote themselves heavily are doing it, you know, with the intentions of knowing that they're selling a faulty product. They're not. Their product sucks, and they need to do the over marketing, the overselling of it, you know, to make up for it. And you know, you're not going to get this with this channel. Look, if you enjoy the content, great. Subscribe. Feel free to comment. I love it when you guys comment, like the videos. But like, if you're somebody who's looking for the next hot cap, or the guy who's going to win you 80% of your games, the guy who's going to make you quit your job to do this full time, that's not what this channel is, and that's not what this industry is. You know, so I just want to make sure I'm clear with this. You know, I'm always humble through the wins. I'm always happy to stomach the losses. I actually, like I said, I actually embrace the losses because it truly lets me focus in and hone in on the process. Maybe some things that went wrong, maybe some things that didn't, But again, remember, folks, the best in this industry, you're going to find are people that lose 4 times out of 10. So you can go on heaters, you'll go on coolers, but at the end of the day, the best people in this industry will be winning at 60%, which means 4 losses. When a guy goes up to bat in baseball, he's going to get out 7 times out of 10, but he's still going to have one of the best averages in baseball at the end of the season. I'm here to tell you that, I'm gonna lose 4 times out of 10 all the time. Okay, all the time. But I just know long term, I'm all about process. I'm all about making you guys better. It's not just me. I want to make you guys all better. Make you all see maybe what I did wrong on certain things. See maybe where you could do better in certain things. And just remember, folks, if you decide to pursue your own handicapping or touting or sports consultant, if you want to be professional about how it sounds, try to learn from the things I teach you and the things my dad does with regards to staying humble through the wins, pounding the chest. It's short-term success, and don't kid yourself about it either. Even when you're on heaters, prepare yourself for the losses. The losses are coming. Okay, the losses are coming. It's inevitable. They will come in this industry, and they're going to come in bunches. You need to make sure that you're staying above it, making sure that your head's above water. You're just going moment to moment, day to day, and just always trying to be better. Always trying to be better, and grade yourself accordingly. Make sure that you're not cheaping yourself out on how you grade yourself after games. If you felt like you won a game because you were lucky, don't pound the chest about it. Let people know, hey, look, honestly, guys, I was on the wrong side of this, but hey, we lucked out. We won the game. Let's deal with it. I'll mark myself appropriately. Don't ever be afraid to do that. Barely anybody in this industry does that, and I just want to, like I said, I always like giving you guys a little bit of better perspective. So, something you might not get from other channels. Really differentiate, what we provide versus others. Okay, so you guys may have seen my dad's video from a few hours ago. Good to have him make a nice little cameo appearance. And if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. It was published about a few hours ago. Always good at minimum for a few laughs. He's a whack job. He says a lot of dumb shit, but at the end of the day, he's pretty hysterical. And I can tell you the funny shit he says in his videos, it translates outside of the videos as well. That's just how he talks. He's just old school Italian. If you're from Jersey or New York, I'm sure you could relate. Maybe from other places you could relate as well. But my grandfather was the same way. Much more of a straight shooter as well. But we're 2 different personalities, and ultimately I hope he posts a few more videos because we do have a difference in personalities. But at the end of the day, we do share a lot of the same traits. I learned a lot from him with regards to sports betting. I'm ultimately just trying to push that down to you guys. He gave some good tips for March Madness, some things to look for in this tournament, along with some funny stories. So again, if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check it out. He'll certainly be around much more frequently come Major League Baseball. So stay tuned to that. Okay, so let's dive into the game for tomorrow night, Louisville, Notre Dame. Okay, so as mentioned, Louisville is minus 7.5. Total is 134.5. Now, this game may sound awfully familiar to some of you subscribers that watch these videos. Again, thank you for watching. I gave these 2 teams played about a little over a week and a half ago, and I gave you guys a pick in this game. The line was 8.5 instead of 7.5 because the game was played in Louisville. I'll touch on that in a bit as well, but I gave you guys Louisville minus 8.5. They pulled away in the second half, and they basically were up almost 9 or 10 the whole half, and then pulled away late in that game for a cover. Now, along with many factors throughout your handicapping process, and this is why you always got to be able to evolve. Always be able to change your process. Always able to kind of find holes that don't get me wrong. There are certain people that are very good at this naturally. There are certain people that it takes a little more practice on. But there's different factors for different scenarios. Now, timing is a huge factor in betting sports, specifically if you're looking for certain situations. I mentioned these 2 teams played over a week ago, that this spot was extremely unfortunate for Notre Dame. They were going to catch Louisville off of 3 straight losses, coming back home for senior day, and they were going to host the Fighting Irish, who hadn't had a win in 3 weeks. It made a lot of sense for Louisville to find themselves in that game, knowing that they had to go at Virginia as their last game. The tide right now with these 2 teams is a bit different than it was back then, though. While it may not have been long since these 2 teams faced one another, this game in particular was under much different circumstances. For one thing, it's on a neutral court. Okay, for me, I weighed that Louisville game for Louisville being worth 3 to 4 points extra for them on home court. Against Notre Dame. So when we saw that line at 8.5, I basically would have said that at that point on a neutral court, I would have had it at 5.5. So the fact that now I'm on a neutral court and it's 7.5 is quite interesting to me. And it is a true neutral court. This game will be played quite far away. It's going to be about 7.5 hours away from Louisville, about almost 12 hours away from Notre Dame. It's in North Carolina, but I now look at Louisville's 8 games from this spot. And again, you need to be constantly evolving, constantly changing your approach for how you look at all the games or all the action or slates, however you want to define it, because you need to make sure you're evolving along with, call it, the market, right? So Louisville's last 8 games, they have six losses. Now, 2 of those wins, one of them were, of course, against Notre Dame, but I watched that entire game. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys did. Not sure if you got updates on your box scores on ESPN, or were out and about and checked your account after you made the bet, or checked your account a few hours later, noticed it won and were happy. But either way, I watched the whole game, and this comes back to the whole grading yourself properly when handicapping. There were some 50-50 calls, quite a few, that ended up all going in Louisville's favor. The game was in Louisville, so I would have somewhat expected that. Now, Notre Dame had plenty of good looks from the field, especially from three-point range, and the shots were just like barely rimming in and out. For Notre Dame fans, this could somewhat be seen as the silver lining, right? I mean, basically they had no answer for John Mooney. Louisville had no answer for John Mooney at all. Notre Dame's star power forward. Notre Dame, who also, by the way, shoots 74% and was higher than that. I think it might have even been 76 when that game was played. Either way, shoots 74% for the season from the free throw line. Shot 4 for 14. And these were good free throws who were shooting that were missing. 4 for 14. They missed various free throws all game that I felt like really spun the momentum for Louisville at various times. They missed the front end of a few one-on-ones, which ends up being, a 2-point loss. All in all, the game ended with me thinking, yeah, we won by 14. I think the lead went up to 19 late in that second half as well. But what would have appeared to be an easy cover, this would have appeared to have been an easy cover for you guys if you had looked at the box score late. But if you watched the game like I did, you wouldn't have felt as good about the bet. Now, granted, it won, and I still felt confident in the bet from the beginning. The 8.5 was still a good number for the situation. But, man, there was a lot of things that could have went differently. Now, Louisville shot 2 for 22 from 3. So that's certainly somewhere where Louisville will more than likely improve for tomorrow. But all other factors for Notre Dame, or all other factors should improve for Notre Dame that were in this game. Notre Dame's coming off quite an impressive offensive performance against Tech. And Notre Dame's big problem is offense. So, they're a pretty good defensive team. Their inability to score consistently is what pains them. And they just played a Georgia Tech team, and they rolled up over 80 on, shooting pretty well from the field. So Mike Bray should be never counted out this time of year. Excuse me, Mike Bray should never. I think I might have said Gray. Mike Bray should never be counted out this time of year. And if Notre Dame doesn't progress far in this tournament, Notre Dame will be watching the bracket from their living rooms, all the players. Now, they might be in the NIT, but who the fuck gives a shit about the NIT? I'm sure nobody from Notre Dame is going to get up for that or want to get up for that. So ultimately, this adds a little extra pep in the step for Notre Dame here, in this game in particular. I touched on how these two teams matched up in the first video, but to quickly rebrief you, Notre Dame does not turn the ball over. They are 5th best in D1. That's all out of the 353 teams. Louisville barely forces any turnovers, so expect Notre Dame to not lose extra possessions there. Both teams shoot really well from the free throw line, but Notre Dame does not foul at all. They are number 1 in D1 in free throw attempts per field goal attempts. They absolutely do not put teams at the free throw line. Both teams play better offense than defense. Louisville plays at a decent tempo, but Notre Dame is always going to be looking to slow things down. Notre Dame could go through some droughts, as I mentioned before, but I do like them to ride their impressive shooting against Georgia Tech, along with the win or go home mentality right into this match. Georgia Tech shot over 52%, or shot about 52% from the field, and still lost by 7 to Notre Dame today. So to recap, what are we getting here? Now, you might look at it and go, a week and a half later, you gave me Louisville minus 8.5. Now we're gonna flip that coin and go Notre Dame. What I'm telling you is, we're getting a team in Notre Dame who practically has that win or go home mentality. They're going to need to have an impressive showing in this ACC tournament to punch a ticket to the bracket. They might not need to win it, but they're going to need one big win here. They're probably going to need to either take out Virginia, North Carolina, or Duke. And then they might be able to drive themselves into it. But either way, Louisville is already dancing, okay? And they are 1-5 combined against UNC, Duke, Florida State, and Virginia. So I don't know how really up to it Louisville is going to be in this contest. I mean, just mentally. I mean, they know they already know they're in the big dance. They're not going to win this ACC tournament. They have 2 wins in their last 8 contests. So I don't know if it's fatigue or confidence, whatever's the factor with this team. Their offense has been severely struggling. Now, they looked good in that one at-home game against Notre Dame offensively, but again, that for me was a big get-right spot for them. I'm not as high on them in this scenario. While they just beat Notre Dame over a week ago by 14, that game had plenty of things that went Louisville's way, which I wouldn't anticipate happening again. I would expect Notre Dame, well-coached Notre Dame, to keep this game close throughout, a game that's going to probably have various runs by both teams, and keep this within 8. I do find the number favorable at 7.5. But the public might be looking at a recent bias of Notre Dame and may jump all over Louisville here. I cannot imagine this goes to 8.5 because if it does, keep in mind, folks, literally 2 games ago, Louisville was minus 8.5 on their home court. If people would be willing to lay 8.5 here on a neutral court, it would be wildly surprising to me because, again, you wouldn't be factoring in at all this game being played on a neutral court. Realistically, I have this line at 5.5. I am very happy with 7.5, but I do believe there is a chance you can get a better number. I think this could go to 8. I think there's a better chance of this going to 8 than to 7, but I really don't know. I do believe the sharper money, per se, will be on Notre Dame, but I think the public money will be on Louisville. They're a much more publicly bet team, at least these days. But either scenario wouldn't surprise me, so I grabbed 7.5 already. I bet it. So feel free to grab that as well. But again, it could move to 8, where you could get a little bit more favorable number, especially right before the game starts. Give me Notre Dame again plus 7.5 against Louisville in what I would consider a correction spot off of what happened in the last game with Louisville. Notre Dame coming off that confident win in a win-or-go-home situation as it relates to the March Madness bracket. So again, I'm going to ride that team here plus the points. Now, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you are not. As always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And I'll definitely be back here daily to give you a free pick. Again, if you haven't checked out my dad's video that he did, check it out. He made a nice little cameo appearance. And again, want to thank you guys for watching. Good luck with good luck to the channel with the pick tomorrow. And I'll be back soon.